Magic is real. If you didn't know that yet, I'm sure it just rocked your world. This previously fictitious concept of a bottleable anti-reality force that opposes our predefined sense of nature is actually tangible. Inch toward grappling with this new reality until you can make peace with it, understand how things have changed, and live on knowing. It's weird. Magic, to you, was once intuitive. Santa was able to deliver gifts to all the children of the world in just one night. Magicians could bend spoons, or make rabbits vanish, or create stuff out of thin air. If you were smart enough, you might have realized there was a profit to be made from knocking all your teeth out on purpose and banking with the tooth fairy. Okay. I understand if you need to sit down for a second. While you're sitting, you might want to do something to relax. It'll probably help you parse the shattering information you just learned. That old thing about magic being real? Everyone has different techniques to relax, so go ahead and choose your favorite. Maybe you indulge in a favored snack, or maybe you just lay your head to rest. I personally play video games, no matter the mood. Kidz64 knows magic is real. It transforms the reality of magic into a confident display utilizing a true, relatable, childlike wonder. Indulgence with an edge. It's just the right amount of personality anyone playing this game is definitely familiar with. The emo-goat duo that the game follows speak with a bit-tongue's amount of lulls, yet it's never at risk of being grating or cringy. I often call this sensibility to approach the usually overt self-indulgent attributes of style confidence, but Corn Kidz lacks insecurity to begin with. It's proud of itself, and it should be. It's obvious the game's solo dev holds this kind of early internet culture close to his heart, as the game lacks any kind of deathly serious motive or secret agenda. Agenda! The playable character wants nachos, and nachos are a funny food, so we run with it. It's all an excuse for cute interactions between characters, which is as noble of a goal as any. It harkens back to any adult's DeviantArt childhood in a non-punishing way. This reflective purity is also displayed through the game's obviously 5th generation iterative visual style, something also close to the dev, evident through its perfect execution. The vast, supernaturally colored skyboxes, misty textures, and oddly specific architecture offers a unique impression through a familiar lens. It's fantastic and needs no discussion past this. Let's give it some discussion past this. Lexi's Monster Park is awesome. The slide, bouncy horsey rides, and gated edges around the zone definitely sell its playground theme, but those gates locking Steve and Alexis away from an infinitely spanning, mystically boring desert add a tinge of oddity to this place that I think it needed. There's so many places here where you can see how far the world stretches out, and during my playthrough, the kid in me stared out a lot, wondering if it were possible to escape, if there were more levels somewhere beyond. This childlike curiosity is best applied to a playground, which, in the waking world, Steve and Alexis are more than attuned to. I can imagine Steve seeing it as an extension of the prison that is school, where Alexis appreciates the time to goof off and play. I like this. These characters are dreaming together, yeah, but they have pretty wildly different personalities. It makes sense their psyches would manifest the environment of their dreams into a mixture of tones. It's an interpretable attention to detail I like a lot. The tutorial-rific setup of the park's architecture makes the world almost feel like a debug or test room too, which builds on the already dreamlike atmosphere in a way I dig. I'm pretty bad with colors, so bear with me here, but the consistency in tones is so appealing. I love that the duo share a palette together, and similar shades of purple, red, and black are seen all around the park. I think the visuals are displayed at their best in the Anxiety Tower though. These cool yet menacing greens and blues are complemented by these hazy fog walls that make up the skybox, traveling toward a black void. All the baked-in gradients and lighting on objects and terrain, coupled with real-time lighting on top, keep up this hazy, dreamy feel in a way I find hard to describe but love. It synthesizes with the tower's already nightmarish abstract structure. It's, in my opinion, one of the shining examples of intention and style for games. The game's visuals and writing is a match made in heaven too. It never baits the player along its path. Corn Kidz is more than the memory of a Trident controller, as it brings the sharp, cutthroat edginess of teenage creation with it, and it's completely welcome. The goats complain about being developmentally crippled mutants, there's cartoonish gore and gothic theming all over Wallow's Hollow. Allusions to religious satire and ethically dubious acts tie the game's presentation in a nice, torn-up black bow. I wanted to say earlier that it's a match made in hell, but that would have sounded like an insult lacking context, so the whole package is just so relatable to me. It isn't just this fantastical sense of childhood or wonder like I mentioned earlier, and it isn't just this dreamy, faded memory of something else. It's the unexpected intensity, the slapstick fluid animation that binds it, the seemingly inappropriate theming. I'm into this stuff. Speaking of the animations, they own so hard. Stuff like the sliding and fall damage animations have just the right amount of crunchy, anchored weight that makes me squint in reaction whenever I see them. Especially that fall damage one. It's got just this particular to it, you know? I don't mean to imply that this game feels amateur at all, because it doesn't, but I love the simple solutions this game adopts for some of its animations too, despite how much work must have been involved. Every chatter pose feels like they snap into each other so intuitively and quickly, but there's some chatter poses you rarely see, or maybe even only see once. Especially with Alexis, she's barely around if she's not floating on her portal. This is a relatively small game, so the decision to have unique, expressively animated poses and moments is appreciated, and something I feel like a lot of indies will forego for the alternative 2D mood sprites. Corn Kidz could have done this, and I wouldn't have even minded it since the 2D art is fantastic too, but they don't. That's commitment, man, it rocks. Look at this spin animation. Whoa. Above it all though, Corn Kidz is aware of magic's rules. Its secrets lie within conviction, the power to do things because you know you can. Belief in corn powers and the supernatural. If you don't think you can make a jump and chicken out, you're lacking the faith that fuels the magic. This game has mastered what I call the skin of your teeth jump like I haven't seen since Mario 64. Every jump will have you sucking in air through your teeth until you exhale. Some jumps seem impossible without that faded upgrade or new ability you'll never get. It's all a matter of analyzing your seemingly obtuse surroundings, thinking about your approach, and executing. It's very satisfying. Obtuse is really the name of the game here, especially when it comes to puzzle solving. Every solution has a very cryptic yet retroactively obvious solution. It encourages the player to study every option in the toy box they roam, and leads them to discoveries that no room, no object is unnecessary. If something seems menial or strictly humorous, the odds are it's an incredibly important piece to a multi-step puzzle. This type of unintuitive, vague puzzle solving would usually deter me, but through this game's joy of control and awesome atmosphere, I was encouraged to figure everything out. I only ever got stumped on a few things that I won't spoil, but I played this game during a time of discovery. There was no long play yet, and only a few people fully completed it. They certainly weren't posting about it in the Steam discussion forums. I watched these threads update live as people shared new info and theories on how to get certain collectibles. It was cool to feel as stumped as everyone else, literally banging our heads against walls trying to figure out how to solve the last few mysteries. I'm a sucker for any kind of community-driven experience in games, especially single-player games like this one. It really felt like we were solving something together, even if I was just a lurker. I mean this as a compliment, but some of these secrets feel like an homage to the ridiculously specific demands of an April Fool's issue of an EGM or something. I wonder if the dev's been burned by one of those in the past. Oh shit, wait, hold on. You paying attention? Okay, fucking damn. Sieve is so fun to control. Just as jumps and jump distances are tailored, Sieve's turn radius, speed, and limited moves leave so much room in their simplicity and effectiveness for wonderful player interaction with the world. While the wall jumps, sliding, and homing attacks are simple on paper, there are iterations on them that further encourage a unique thought directive for the player. For example, you jump higher on walls when you push against them, so impossible distances actually just require some prior proximity. Sieve's air boost homing attack magnetizes to distant objects, but blasting off of them isn't attached to your control stick or inherent to your previously chosen direction. This impressed me. It's actually initiated through an extra button input after colliding with an object, which gives you slack time to continually boost wherever you want again while airborne. The quote-unquote answer to flow-stopping homing attacks has always eluded me, and this serves as a more than functional solution. It's cool! There's room for experimentation within Sieve's base moveset too. There are faster ways of traveling other than walking if you're willing to take the time to try. But frankly, the game doesn't need it. Everything is so close together and you unlock so many shortcuts around the areas that travel is never obnoxious. The hands-off camera functionality supports the game's flow excellently. I'm never fumbling around to make the camera play nice with me, and additives to it like a look directly down button and distant option make it even better. More games should have this. Old 3D platformers have gotten a lot of flack for their cameras, but I've always been a proponent of the camera being a mechanic just as much as a moveset or obstacle is. It's something you need to tackle to understand, and oftentimes trust for the best experience. The same could be said for enjoying the whole of these so-called unintuitive, clunky older games. Corn Kidz is no different if you're willing to just put your faith in it as it has itself. It does just enough of every concept it introduces, but leaves you wanting more, which it'll happily serve to you if you really decide to crack it open. Magic lies in confidence, and confidence is as real as you're willing to display. If you didn't know that yet, I'm sure it just rocked your world.
See, we are a secret club because of our agenda.